Welcome to the Melody Podcast, Episode 3. Today I'm going to break down and dance to the soundtrack from Shrek because you played the ending scene more than the actual movie, right? So, a soundtrack breakdown in music refers to the analysis and discussion of various elements and components that make up a soundtrack, typically associated with a film, TV show, or video game. Composing a soundtrack involves more than just creating a set of background music. It requires careful consideration of how the music complements and enhances the overall experience of the visual content. Here's a breakdown of key elements in a soundtrack. So the key elements in a soundtrack, the main theme, this is the central musical motif associated with the production. It often represents the overall mood or theme of the work. Main themes are usually memorable and can be reprised or modified throughout the soundtrack. Cues and underscore. Cues are individual pieces of music that accompany specific scenes or moments in the visual content. Underscore refers to the background music that supports the mood without drawing attention to itself. Both cues and underscore contribute to the overall atmosphere and emotion of the scene. Leitmotif. A leitmotif is a recurring musical theme or motive associated with a particular character, place, or concept. It helps create a musical connection between the audience and the specific elements in the visual content. Instrumentation. The choice of instruments significantly impacts the mood and tone of the soundtrack. Different instruments or combinations can evoke emotions and enhance the overall impact of the music. Tempo and rhythm. The tempo and the rhythm of the music can influence the pacing and energy of a scene. Faster tempos may accompany action sequences like Jaws. Slower tempos can enhance emotional moments like Titanic. Dynamics, changes in volume and intensity can add drama and tension to a soundtrack. Orchestration involves arranging and organizing musical elements for different instruments or sections of an orchestra. A well-orchestrated soundtrack can convey depth and richness to the music. Transitions. Smooth transitions between different musical themes or cues are crucial for maintaining coherences and flow in the soundtrack. Seamless transitions contribute to a unified and immersive experience. Silence and sound design. The absence of music can be impactful as the presence of music. Sound design elements such as ambient sounds or special effects also play a role in creating a holistic auditory experience. Emotional response. A successful soundtrack resonates emotionally with the audience, enhancing their connection to the characters and narrative. The music should complement and amplify the intended emotions of the visual content. Soundtrack breakdowns provide a deeper understanding of the creative choices made by the composers and how those choices contribute to the overall impact of the visual media. Analyzing these elements can also offer insights to the storytelling techniques employed in the production. Behind every great film and television show is a brilliant soundtrack that makes the finished product spectacular and iconic. The soundtrack music has a fundamental place in film and television. It creates tension, instructs the audience how to feel, and produces memorable moments that last forever. But how did it gain its place in history? The history of a soundtrack. So, even before there was spoken dialogue in cinema, there was music. During the silent era of film in between 1894 and 1929, there was no recorded synchronization sound in films. Instead, they used dialogue appeared on short title cards between shots. In order to fill up the absence of sound, live orchestras or in house pianists perform music alongside the film. From the 1950s and 1960s onwards, film music radically changed. The use of the theme songs and soundtracks became popularized. Instead of the original score used to create emotions and reactions, theme songs, according to film reference, were specifically developed for films in advance with lyrics and could be used to promote the film on radio and television. Such examples from this era include the theme song from Moon River from Breakfast at Tiffany's in 1961. With theme songs, audiences could listen to with theme songs, audiences could listen to and own a piece of the film outside the cinema. The theme song would be a memory of what they had seen. The power of a soundtrack. The soundtrack provides instant recognition of the film. Whenever the audience will hear that music, they will remember the film, making the film memorable whenever a piece of music is heard on TV, radio, or in other films. Take, for instance, the classic The Graduate, 1968 soundtrack. Although the album contains Simon and Garfunkel music that predates the film's release, such as the hit The Sound of the Silence, audiences will instantly remember the film whenever they hear songs from the soundtrack. For example, the track Mrs. Robinson is instantly recognizable as the Graduate theme song, and one immediately thinks of the flirtatious Mrs. Robinson. Just as the film quotes can make a film memorable, so can the lyrics of the song that provides the same function. Not only providing a memorable moment for the audience, a great soundtrack can also inspire generations of directors in film and television scores. One of the most iconic film scores ever composed is the original soundtrack to Alfred Hitchcock's film Psycho in 1960. The film's most memorable music plays during the shower scene murder, in which the use of screeching violins make the blood curdle. The music was extremely important in creating the horror. The use of music to stir up horror became iconic and went on to inspire other film soundtracks such as Steven Spielberg's Jaws in 1975. However, the Psycho shower music was also reused in films and television to become the epitome of terror. For example, in other horror films such as Wes Craven's New Nightmare in 1994 and Tim Burton's dark animated story Coraline in 2009, as well as in popular TV shows The Simpsons and Friends, and in video games such as The Sims. As the Psycho shower scene demonstrates, one soundtrack can become the epitome and cliche of a genre. Music can have a powerful effect in orchestrating the emotions and reaction of the audience. Imagine Jaws without the alternating notes E and F used to create the dun 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 sound. Would the shark still have the same terrifying presence? Probably not, but the soundtrack created the fear behind the shark and made the movie iconic. Soundtracks date back to 1937, but what are the best soundtracks of all time? Can you take a guess? I've got the top 5 right here. The Bodyguard in 1992 with 45 million copies sold. Number 2, Saturday Night Fever in 1977 with 40 million copies sold. Number 3, Dirty Dancing 1987 with 32 million copies sold. Number 4, Titanic 1997, 30 million copies sold. Number 5, Grease in 1978 with 28 million copies sold. Titanic was farther down the list than I would have expected. A soundtrack provides a fascinating glimpse into the artistry and craftsmanship that goes into creating the musical tapestry accompanying visual media, from the soaring melodies of iconic main themes to the subtle nuances of instrumentation, tempo, and leitmotifs. Every element serves a purpose in enhancing the emotional renaissance and narrative depth of a film, TV show, or video game. Through careful analysis and soundtracks, one can unravel the intricate layers of storytelling woven into the music, gaining a deeper appreciation for the collaboration effort between composers, directors, and musicians. Soundtracks not only enrich our understanding of individual works, but also celebrate the powerful synergy between sound and image, highlighting the profound impact that well-crafted music can have on the overall cinematic experience. Music news for January 20th. Eminem will release a new song titled Doomsday Part 2 on January 26th. Can't wait for that. Lizzo teases new album coming. She said the magic is back. Ariana Grande said her Eternal Sunrise album will be released in March. And the music history for January 20th. In 1982, while performing at the Veterans Memorial Auditorium in Des Moines, Iowa, Ozzy Osbourne bites the head off a bat. In 2006, the TV movie High School Musical premieres on the Disney Channel, creating a teen and tween sensation and the biggest album of 2006. In 1990, after being revived by a Washington DJ, the Electric Boogie by Jamaican singer Marcia Griffiths peaks at number 51 on the Billboard Hot 100 as the electric slide line dance craze sweeps the nation. In 1986, after years of campaigning to make Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a federal holiday, Stevie Wonder commemorates the occasion with a star-studded concert celebration in Washington, D.C. In 1977, Jimmy Buffett releases his seventh studio album, Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes, which features his signature song, Margaritaville. Peaking at number 8, the tropical-themed rock track remains the highest entry on the Billboard Hot 100 for him. Ever wonder what the top music charts are for the week and don't feel like checking? I've got it right here for you. The charts for January 20th are number 1, Lovin' on Me by Jack Harlow. Number 2, Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. Number 3, Greedy by Tate McRae. Number 4, I Remember Everything by Zach Bryan featuring Casey Musgraves. Number 5, Paint the Town Red by Doja Cat. Number 6, Snooze by SZA, however you say it. Water by Tyla is number 7. Lose Control by Teddy Swims, number 8. Agora Hills by Doja Cat, and number 10, Last Night by Morgan Wallen. That's the top songs for the week of January 20th. Saturday, January 27th. I will be doing a YouTube live stream from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be celebrating the launch of February's Pledge of the Month. The Pledge of the Month that we're doing for Melody Cares is the American Heart Association. I will be doing musical trivia, sharing music history, and answering any questions anybody may have while we raise money for the pledge. You can head over to the website at shopmelody.com/melody-cares to learn more about the cause. Go to the Melody Facebook page and join the event. Also, go to the Melody YouTube page and subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications for when we go live. Thank you for listening to the Melody Podcast. I'm your host, James Shelton. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications. Go follow us on our social links. Go to shopmelody.com/store and shop now. Shop for Valentine's Day. Also at the bottom of the page, you can find all our social links for Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, TikTok, all the social links right there at the bottom. Thank you again. We'll see you next week.